our real purpose here is quite simple and single. It is to congratulate you personally on this victory as the now President-elect for Ghana. To thank you for the way you led your party to a successful, peaceful election here in Ghana, particularly as the international community had its eyes on Ghana, to really continue to hold up the torch of Ghana, one that many of us continue to be very proud of on the continent, as a beacon of democracy, defender of democracy, and defender of transparency. Your Excellency, your ascension to office also brings new records. The first female vice president ever to Ghana. And we know that last time you attempted this, so congratulations on that success. And also I think the fact that although there were lots of pessimistic views about how women's representation would be, that we're actually seeing an uptick, slight uptick in that for the coming period. We have had the opportunity to see the 120-day plan that you have, and the UN identifies with a lot of the content in there. And through our cooperation framework, we definitely will find ways to work on this. We are proposing in January to provide a very high-level briefing priority document to yourself and your cabinet, as well as detailed priorities to all the ministers once you appoint these, to enable you to guide that process, both in terms of longer-term issues as well as more immediate things that need to be addressed. And to assure you that the United Nations stands fully with you and fully with Ghana through your presidency that is just about to unfold, and assure you of our greatest collaboration. I thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
To congratulate us, I really appreciate it. Ghana has had long-standing relations with all your agencies, and having been president before, I know the kind of work we did together. We need you more than ever before because of the crisis this country is going through. And I've had the opportunity to meet some of you, even during the campaign and before the election. And I've expressed, how I want us to work even closer together to see how we can put Ghana back on its feet. Of course, we all know that Ghana is very important in the geopolitics of West Africa and Africa in terms of upholding democracy and being a model, of peace and security. And it's something that we want to restore as quickly as possible. And so we look forward to working with you, looking at the existing programs. And we need to tweak them to meet the realities of today to do so. Happily, we've had discussions with the World Bank and the IMF already, and we look to an early engagement so that we can continue to be on the same wavelength. Of course, in the campaign, several, promises were made, and we need to look at what the reality is in terms of sitting together and seeing what the way forward is. Of course, one of our main concerns, and I think we've expressed it to you several times, is the issue of the humps in the debt repayments, and it's something we need to see how we can smooth in so that we don't default again. That would be more catastrophic than this current default. Aside from that, we know that in the last family season, the rainfall pattern was very erratic, and so we're anticipating that there's going to be some problem with availability of food, and so how we're able to kick in supports to ameliorate the situation is something that we would like to work on. With all the other agencies, UNICEF, UNHCR and all that, we are happy to continue to engage and see how we can strengthen and even uplift the cooperation and the work that we do together. I don't kid myself that it's going to be an easy task. It's going to be quite tough. And I anticipated that we're going to win, but I didn't anticipate the margin by which we're going to win. And that is an indication, like I said yesterday, that Ghanaians have a very high expectation. And so managing that expectation and trying to work as quickly as possible to meet those expectations is something that our team has to look at. We run on the campaign of resetting the nation because we've been in this democratic space since 1992. And the time has come when we must look at some of the issues to do with our governance, our economic management and all that, the fight against corruption and all that, and see how we can lift all that to another level so that we continue to maintain the confidence and faith, especially of our youthful population. A lot of them are losing faith in the whole democratic thing because they think it's not working for them, it's not creating opportunities for them. So those are all things that we need to look at. We're happy we have our first female vice president. She's not only opened the door, but she's going to keep the door open so that others can follow in her footsteps. Happily, this last parliament has passed the affirmative action law, and so we're going to abide by it. Even in the run-up to the campaign, we made a promise that we're going to reserve 30% of appointments for women. But the affirmative action law gives benchmarks for increasing that, and so we're going to have to work to make sure that we meet those benchmarks. And so we count on your cooperation, and I'm happy about the briefing that we'll get as soon as we have the team together. I made a promise that we're going to have our cabinet meeting within 14 days of the swearing in. And so we'll know that team as early as possible. So even before they've been vetted and sworn in, we can start the engagements that are necessary so that we have a smooth transition and that we continue from there. So thank you again very much. Yes, and look forward to working with you.
Permit me, Mr. President, just to respond to one of the points that you made about alignment. Indeed, when I arrived here in 2021, we took a very strong decision that we had to align the UN cooperation framework with the governance cycles of Ghana. And so we took the unprecedented move of having a 3-year cooperation framework which ends in 2025. Yes. And the prime purpose of doing that was to ensure that as the new government comes in on January the 7th, we have a year to work with you in the National Planning Development Commission and the priorities of the government to ensure that we are aligned. So our new cooperation framework will be worked on and is already being worked on now. We're doing the review. The assessments and contextual analysis will be done through the first half of 2025, and the new cooperation framework will be written up in the second half, which means that it must be totally aligned with the government priorities of the day, so that on signature in January 2026, we are working with you and the priorities of the government of Ghana. So this is the mandate that came from the Secretary General, that our accountability must shift away from a vertical, upward-looking accountability to a more horizontal facing one that looks at the countries that we're working in and ensuring that we are delivering for them, not on top of them. So I want to assure you that the process is already in place to ensure we fully align. Thank you again, Mr. President. I'm invoking Sankofa because I didn't introduce myself, although I know you know me.
Of course.
I am Charles Abani, the UN Resident Coordinator, overseeing 25 resident agencies and nearly another 20 who don't have offices here but come here regularly. The UN in Ghana is one of the most visited places by the UN, and the footprint of the UN is quite extensive. Our approach is we welcome every UN agency. There are none who are excluded. Just be fit for purpose for what Ghana needs you to do. And I'm from Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you.